Alright, if you're asking, why am I not getting any views on Twitch? I have to ask, have you been looking at your content? Have you been reviewing it to see what you're producing? Because that is one thing that is absolutely crucial when you are streaming, is to go back, review what your stream looks like, what it sounds like, and just overall, is there content that people would actually want to watch? In this video, I'm going to go over the things I look for when I review my streams, and I'm going to give you those same pointers on how to identify what's not good, what is good, and help you push forward to be a better live streamer. Let's get into it. First thing we need to go over is audio. And audio is by far way more important than the visuals. Audio can turn off a viewer in an instant. So when you're reviewing your stream, what you need to be doing is listening for your mic. If your microphone winds up having a very wide range with volume, that it's incredibly soft sometimes and incredibly loud all the time, and it just fluctuates somewhere between there, you need to start really thinking about how you are managing your microphone. Streamlabs OBS and OBS Studio both have where you can enable filters onto your microphone source. You can then apply a compressor so that way it never gets too loud. You can put a gain on there to make sure that it's not too soft, and this way you can reduce the range of volume that's going through your microphone and making it a more pleasant experience. You can even take a $30 microphone or even a headset, and you can improve the mic quality on it just by using these filters. You can use an EQ filter to where it is actually bringing up the best qualities of your voice, and you can actually make it sound better. Is it gonna sound like a Shure SM7B? Probably not, but it's gonna be much better than probably what it is by itself. But not only is it your microphone, you need to be listening to all the different audio sources going into your stream, including gameplay or Discord. You need to check to see, are these being overpowering to you as the content creator? Because the volume needs to be where you are the first thing that's heard, then probably the gameplay next. So make sure you're listening to these things. Make sure you are balancing your audio so that way your viewers can be fully engaged with you and what your content is and enjoy the experience. Now, since we're talking about listening, why don't we talk about how you're talking as well? Because engaging with your viewers is a crucial thing, and you can review this in your stream. So when I'm watching my stream, I typically look for, how am I responding to my chatters? Am I answering questions that they're giving me, or am I posing questions that they want to engage with? Am I finding those ways to connect with them, or am I just babbling because I can babble? There is a difference. You need to be making sure that you are driving some sort of conversation that actually engages and connects you to your viewers, especially when you're a small streamer, because the key thing you need to be doing is creating a community of people who want to watch you. And in order to do that, you need to get to know the people who are watching you. So what I look for then is how I'm engaging with my chat. And then also, is the chat also kind of continually moving along in some way, shape, or form? So if I only had one person in the chat, are they staying connected with me? Are they continuing to type through while I'm doing everything that I'm doing? Is it still filtering through? If you wind up where there are a huge amount of dead periods, I mean, there could be a lot of reasons for it, but that should let you know that maybe something there kind of made them drop off. Or if you're somebody like me and you average somewhere around 10 viewers, you usually see a few different people. But if all the chat stops simultaneously, I look to see why that could possibly be. Did I stop engaging? Did I stop driving the conversation forward? And that's the thing, you need to be making sure you're the one driving the conversation. It's not your viewers that are there to create the content, it's you. So you drive the conversation. Whether you're streaming to nobody or not, always be talking and keeping something going. But another thing that comes into factor is, did you ban someone who's being disruptive or making you uncomfortable? If you didn't, you should have. If you can visibly see that you are uncomfortable while reviewing your stream, and you can tell that the rest of your chat may have become uncomfortable because they're not engaging like they were, that's somebody you should probably have banned, because they are making you uncomfortable, they're saying things that are not going to be connecting with your community, and is just going to disrupt everything and prevent your growth. Another thing I check for is not even going to be on the screen. It's going to be off screen. It's going to be in my chat, and it's my bot. If you have a bot set up that posts out, hey, follow me on this channel. Here's my YouTube. Here's my TikTok. If it's posting those things, is it being overpowering to your chat? Is the bot being way too much for the chat to where it is literally drowning out all the other messages that are there from your viewers? And this is something I have struggled with, and I still sometimes have to go through and perfect, because sometimes you have the bot set to where it is spamming so much to not as many people. So you have to sit and fine tune this a little bit more. What I've made sure that I started doing was adding to where there is an amount of time that it has to wait before it can say anything. But on top of that, I also make sure that it has to have so many lines of comments before it can say anything. This way, in case I wind up with 20 minutes where it's only me and maybe 2 other people talking, my bot is not going to be overpowering the chat that's going on. It's not going to draw away from the conversation overall. So spend some time, really fine-tune that bot to be a little bit more perceptive on how many times it's going to be posting in your chat. Now, along with the visual stuff, we need to go around to visual distractions on the screen. And I'm not talking about channel points, and I'm not talking about, special things that happen like a raid. I'm talking the elements that are on the screen all the time. So one of the things I typically have an issue with is actually when it comes to overlays. Sometimes I see new streamers purchase a custom overlay, and it looks great when it's by itself. But then when you put it on the stream, it winds up being overpowered. It winds up having too much visual stimulation to where it becomes distracting for the eyes. It makes it to where your viewers are not looking directly at what they need to. Setting up your overlays needs to be about where are you drawing the focus. And the focus should be on what the primary content is, which is you and whatever you're presenting with you on stream. So when I design something, I try to keep it clean and simple. This is animated, and the only thing that's animated is to make the lamps look like they're flames. But my goal is always to make the background be complementary to what's going on screen. There is nothing drawing your eye away from the core piece of what's going on the screen. And by the way, that overlay is on sale on my website. What could drive away from the primary focus that should be the content can sometimes be your goals and the latest sub and the latest follower, and having a ridiculous amount of them on the screen to where it starts crowding and intruding on the content itself. I'm not saying it's bad to have these things. In fact, you should have some of these things, but you need to pick and choose what is going to be the most relevant for you. So if you're somebody that you have a decent following and you have a good amount of followers, you don't really need to have who the latest follower is at this point. Now you maybe want to focus on who's subscribing. Hey, here's the latest subscriber. Have that instead, and not both the follower and the subscriber. Similarly, when it comes to bits or donations, you don't need to have both up there. Just have one. Pick whatever is going to be the most important for you and the thing that's going to drive your overall goal. It's good when somebody donates and they can have an alert for a donation, but does that mean that we need to have them appear on the screen at all times? So when you're reviewing your content, you need to be seeing, are your eyes drifting away from the actual content and to some of these visual distractors? Having a flashy overlay that maybe is just too distracting from the actual content? Find ways to simplify it visually to where you can still have what you want, but also not be distracting with it. Now, inevitably, we all have tech issues that happen live during stream. It is what it is. We all go through it. The important thing is, how did you react to it? When you're reviewing your streams, take a look at how you're reacting to something that just didn't go right. Did you kind of fly off the handle and throw a tantrum? Did you start blaming Twitch or your OBS or something else? Did you start throwing blame? Look, none of those are a good look. The big thing you need to be doing when a tech issue happens is to stay calm. And if you can, find ways to joke about it and show chat that it's okay to laugh about it, to be lighthearted about it, because that makes it more welcoming. If you're normally a pleasant person on stream and you're normally very bubbly and engaged, then all of a sudden you turn into a big rage monster when a tech issue happens, people then start to wonder, what is this person really like? Do I really even know this person? And the connection starts to kind of break. So if you have a tech issue, and you're looking at it when you're reviewing your content, look at how you're responding and make sure that it's a way that feels comfortable for a viewer. When tech issues happen on live things like the news or on a sporting event, most of the time when those tech issues happen, you don't notice it much, but when it does happen, the commentators just joke it off, and that's what you should do as well. Joke it off, it's okay. Things happen in live production, and you just gotta roll with it. The show must go on. Have fun with it. Find ways to still be engaging with it. It's surprise content, something you weren't planning on doing, but you can make it content. This is the final one I'm going to tell you, and I saved it for last for a reason, because this is probably the most important thing that took me from being a streamer just like everybody else to actually growing. When you're reviewing your streams, this is the key thing I do. I watch my stream, and the second I start getting disinterested with my stream, I write it down. And what I mean by disinterested is I immediately start going to like Google and I start typing in, hey, how should I be doing this? I immediately check out of my own content. And here's the thing, when I check out of my content, that means my viewers have checked out of my content before that. And so I look at that. What was I doing that took my attention away from myself, from my own content? Now, granted, I don't like listening to myself. I don't like the sound of my voice. And generally, I have low self-esteem, let's just face it. I'm working on it, that's why, I do what I do. Anyway, but what I look for is that those moments where I check out. I check out on my stream because it got boring. Something about it got boring to me. And so I look at it and I go, what was it that bored me of this? I mean, granted, I was there. I know what's happening. I know what's going to happen. If I'm checking out, I know my viewers have got to be checking out. So I kind of take notes on why I'm checking out. And I look at, okay, well, what was it? Was it just that I stopped talking? Did I get too into the game and I just wasn't being engaging like I was? Or did a raid come in and I just blew my opportunity because I was so focused on the game, and what I should have done is just lose the game and focused on the people who just came in? There's a lot of things that just kind of play into why I stopped viewing. And so I make notes of that, and I constantly just try to go, okay, this is where I checked out, this is where I checked out, so I can learn what it is that's just boring or uninteresting or just in general making me tune out. There are times you can look at it and be like, yeah, this is just a me problem, this is not a stream problem. I'm losing attention because I've been at this for 2 hours and I'm just freaking exhausted. But on the flip side of this, you also need to be looking for things that caught your attention. Those things that maybe while you were watching it and, kind of reviewing it, you were writing a note down about something, then all of a sudden your attention goes right back to the screen. What was it? What was it that brought your attention so in focus to your content? Look at that, because that's something you're doing right. This all comes down to reviewing your content in full and going, where am I tuning out? And finding ways to minimize that as much as you possibly can. And then, what's catching my attention? And bringing yourself to go, okay, I want to look at this. What was it? Can I replicate this? And your goal is to each stream find ways to, while you're live, do your best to incorporate a lot of the things you're learning. See, the thing is, this isn't gonna be easy and it doesn't come fast. It takes time. It took me about a year for the practice of this to really present itself, to where it started becoming really easy for me to keep people engaged and keep the conversations going. But it's because I was looking at what I was doing that was just dull and things that were really exciting. And the more I do this, the better I get. Because now when I go live, it's no longer I just sit and go, well, what do I say? What do I do? And it's so much easier to bring the energy to it because I'm not so bogged down and trying to figure out while live if I'm being entertaining enough. So when you're going back and you're reviewing your content, make sure you're checking your audio in pretty much every way and find ways to learn how to make your audio better, because audio is always going to be so much more important than video. Also, how are you interacting with your chatters? Is it a good back and forth? Is there a lot of conversation happening? Or is it just really meh? Is there a lot on stream where it's just your eyeballs are going all over the place, or it's just too cluttered? Or are you responding to tech issues in a way that may make some people uncomfortable? All these things factor in to when you're reviewing your stream. These are a lot of things to tackle, and it takes time. But I guarantee you practice this. Even if you only do this once a week, routinely reviewing your content. Not your clips, your content, your actual live stream. Clips aren't going to provide you the information you want because that's the best of your stuff. You need to be reviewing also the worst of your stuff. You need to review it all so you can start polishing up that full product from starting soon to ending the stream. You've got to have that full package put together, and remember, you're the reason people are there. All right, I think I talked your ear off enough for today. I will catch you guys on the next video. Be sure to be checking it out.